Hey guys, it's Meg with Only Sleep for Cheap. Here's the mug. You're finally seeing it. There's a reason I haven't shown my face yet, and it's because I'm very ill, and what you see here is not what it once looked like for a very long time. And I'm embarrassed. I feel very self-conscious and embarrassed. Like, it's hard for me. I was always, and I'm not trying to say, oh, I was hot stuff and this and that, like the prettiest girl ever, but I usually was the hot girl, like in my groups of friends, and when I went out, like, always hit on, always talked to by men, women too. Equal opportunist, you know, that's fine by me. Hey, I'm flattered either way. But it's just, please be kind, because this is very hard for me. And very recently, I felt inspired and was inspired by a fellow YouTuber, Marina. She does confessions of a Dollar Tree addict. One of the sweetest people ever. And she works with a lot of domestic violence organizations to donate and whatnot, as do I, because I am a domestic violence survivor, and it kind of rolled into, like, from that into getting sick. And there's a chance this is going to be my last Christmas on Earth, you know. I wouldn't say I'm scared of death, but I don't want it to be my last year. I'm only 40. But I digress. And I want to share a bit of my story with you, so that way, maybe if it's something you need to talk about, I can inspire you to do the same thing. Reach out for help if you need it. And yeah, so I'm just going to get into it. So my story is, I was with a guy, I knew him for at least a year before we got together. We were both in other relationships when we knew each other, but in the same group of friends. And he wasn't really my type, but when we were both single, I started hanging out with him, just the two of us, and he was so good to me, so kind. He always listened, was interested in what I had to say, kissed the ground I walked on, and just seemed to really enjoy my company. And that's refreshing, you know, when a guy wants to hear you talk. That can be a rarity. So, you know, within 4 months I had a ring on it. And it was exactly 1 month before the wedding when he put his hands on me for the first time. And I was always the type of girl that said, I will never let a man put his hands on me, and if he does, you better watch out and sleep with one eye open. And I'll leave it there. I'm not going to go into more detail. But when you are in it, you don't see how it's abuse. And I know that that is so hard for people to comprehend if they haven't been there. And I'll try to dive into that a little bit in a moment. But anyway, so when that happened, the wedding had been paid for, and my family doesn't have much money. We were paying for a good chunk, like most of it, to be honest. So everything was paid for. My dress was ready, like, and everything else was so great. I thought I was hoping it was a one-time thing. You know what I mean? And he was very intoxicated at the time. And I think I gave him that excuse. Not good, trust me. And let me just put it here. It never gets better. Never gets better. It only gets worse. So don't think it's gonna only happen one time. It won't. It'll continue. I promise you that. So if it happens to you, you have to decide what you're gonna do to get out. Because nobody deserves that. And I'm only 4'10". Like, I'm a very tiny, very petite girl, and for me to be struck by a man that's 6'2", I mean, thin, but still much, much larger than myself, it's not good. So, anyway, I let it go. And just, pray for the best. And then it happened several more times now. It never happened when he was sober. But he did drink a lot. He did have a drinking problem. And that was becoming more and more apparent as time went on. And it got to the point where, I told him, you either sober up or I leave. So he did. He sobered up. Or so I thought. For a year. And during that year, things were good. We didn't have any of that mess going on. But then he started drinking again in front of me, and some things were happening. And each time was different. Like, the first time he struck me across the face, but it was enough for me to fall to the ground. And I was in shock. And then another time, it was my girlfriend's birthday, and we had 2 spare bedrooms. So I invited her, a few of our friends, and, just a small little get-together. Pizza, beer, what have you. But we had all partied that night, with the beer. And I block these things out a lot, so excuse me if I'm pausing quite often here, but we were in the sunroom arguing, and he had me by the throat, and my girlfriend had come out of the room where she was sleeping to get a glass of water, and she saw what happened. So at that point, somebody knew. And it is so embarrassing. I can't tell you how embarrassing it is when you have to admit to people that you're going through that and you're still there. You haven't left. You haven't done anything. Like, and everybody will say, well, why are you still with them? Well, they ask a million questions and just think that you're stupid. There are a million reasons why people don't leave. Money is a big one. Children. I never was blessed with children of my own, but I had 2 beautiful, beautiful stepsons that I helped raise because he sure as heck wasn't doing it when we had them. So I did, and I knew if I left, there was a very good chance I wouldn't see them again. And that's what kept me going for as long as I did. It was a big, big, big chunk. And again, I just didn't think to myself, oh, this is abuse. It didn't register. Second to the last time, and I never remember what these arguments were about. They were so dumb. But he was always really intoxicated. And he body slammed me. Knocked the wind out of me. And I did call the cops that time. Because I wanted him out of the house for the night. I was scared. And the officer that came out was trying to push me to press charges, this and that, and I wouldn't do it. To this day, I don't know why that wasn't enough, but it wasn't. Fast forward, I would say maybe 6 months, somewhere around there, and I noticed he was drinking an awful lot. So I knew it was coming. I knew another incident was coming. I could feel it in my bones. Now, all the money was in his name. The bank account was only in his name. I was a nanny, so I was paid under the table in cash, so my money went into that account. A lot of the time, I kept half for myself and put the other half in it for bills and whatnot, but, you know, that's a whole nother story. Dumb, by the way. Always have your own bank account, whether they know it or not. Preferably, they shouldn't know about it. And if you have a family member or friend that you trust 110%, put the account in their name. So that way, this man can't trace it to you. But have the debit card and whatnot. And then when you can finally leave, you can transfer it into an account with your name, but that's for another video. So anyway, I knew, okay, this is gonna happen soon, and I can't do it one more time. But I don't have any money, none. I had like $5 in my wallet, and I have a dog that was, you know, like almost 90 pounds, and had all these allergies, so we needed like expensive food and things like that. I wasn't too worried about myself, like just a place to lay my head for however long I might need it, and food for my dog. So one night he was passed out drunk, took his debit card, went to the ATM, and I took out the max amount for a day, which is $500, at least here it is, and with our bank. Second night, did the same thing. Took out $500, because I knew he would have brought it up if he saw that I took it out the first time. Then that morning, after I took out the money, I got up for work. I had to get up really early, and he was like half out of it, half passed out from drinking a lot on the couch. He got mad about something, I don't remember what. He couldn't find his phone. That's what it was, and his phone was his life. And he started chasing after me, and I was terrified. Like, I was scared for my life. And I remember running outside, screaming bloody murder for help. A neighbor called the cops. Cops came over. They were young cops that just didn't want to do any work. They flat out said, and I will never forget this, oh, you know, he's too drunk to get taken in. He needs to sleep this off. I'm like, well, what about me? They're like, well, do you want to think about it maybe before pressing charges or getting a restraining order? Because I wanted a restraining order at that point. And I said, no, there's nothing to think about. And if you look, you'll see that this is the 4th or 5th time the cops have had to come out because of domestic violence, and I want it to be over. So hesitantly, they agreed. I followed them to the police station, and I sat in that waiting room by myself for 2 straight hours while they did God knows what. Probably having their coffee, eating donuts, laughing about my case. Who knows? And let me tell you, to get a permanent restraining order in my state is really hard. I mean, really hard. But, again, I was smart. For months and months leading up to it, if there was ever a bruise from what happened, I took pictures. I had an eyewitness, you know, my girlfriend that saw him. And that, her testimony was the nail in the coffin. I'll just say that. And, you know, I found a lot of documentation that helped me because he was hiding a lot. So yeah, when it came down to it, it was one hell of a battle, but my faith kept me strong, and I was able to get through it with the love and compassion of my friends that were there for me, because they're like my family. And I got that permanent restraining order, thank God. And if it weren't for my parents to help me pay for legal fees, who knows? Who knows what would have happened? But I was blessed enough where I got the house for a while. Now, he wasn't paying for it like it was supposed to be, but again, that's for a whole nother video. I've been rambling on long enough. Alright, so when I finally had to sell the house, I did so. I had a boyfriend. He was moving at the same time, but moving back home, not because he didn't have the money, but it was the beginning and height of COVID, so he was able to get a lot of money for his house. So I stayed with him like the last few months that he had that house, and I stayed there for a little bit of time, and then I had to move back in with my parents, which nobody wants to do at my age, after living alone, running a household, like having a husband, having children, having all that freedom, which I have zero of now. Like, I can't even take a piss without, like, what are you doing? Hold on, let me take a sip of my water here and my protein drink. Okay, so fast forward, I moved back home. It hasn't been good since then. But the doctors originally thought I had celiac disease. My belly was bulging out to where I looked 8-9 months pregnant, and I'm a tiny girl, so it was very, very noticeable. So I did the whole gluten-free thing for a while, and it seemed to work. I seemed to be getting better, and I was really happy, although all the foods I enjoy have gluten. So I was kind of cranky a lot too, because I was hungry all the time, because I'm a wonderful cook, and I was able to make and learn how to make a lot of amazing dinners that are gluten-free. But where I live now, like living with my parents, they don't like it when I use the kitchen, and whole long story. Come to find out, that wasn't the case, because then I still started feeling sick again and having that extension in my stomach, and I was working and like pulling over on the highway to vomit on my way into work, having to run to the restroom to throw up a lot, and I wasn't pregnant. There was physically no way I was. Like, not literally possible, unless it was like an immaculate conception, but I'm no Mother Mary. So I knew something was wrong still, and I went back to the doctor. We did more and more and more and more and more testing. Come to find out, I was almost in liver failure. It didn't make sense. I used to drink a good amount, very good amount, because my ex-husband was an alcoholic, so we drank together a lot. And I seem to be drawn to people who need help, because the guy before that I was with for quite some time, alcoholic, so we drank. And also, let's be honest, it's easier to look at other people's problems than your own. So I wasn't looking within to see my own addiction. And I'll admit that. But usually people who have liver failure disease due to alcoholism drink way more than I ever did. So it didn't really make sense, and to this day I don't understand. But it does run in my family, apparently. So everything in my body is breaking down. Everything. And I found this out a few months after having moved back home with my mom and my dad, when I was already really unhappy. So, just like all the time, like I want to do videos and I can't. My teeth all fell out. I lost, like you can see my face. This is embarrassing. Like, I lost all the muscle mass and fat in my face. Between that and no teeth, going from, and I'm not trying to say, oh, I was so hot and this and that, but I will admit, I was very attractive. I got a lot in life because of my looks. Like, perks, I'll admit that. Had any guy I wanted. Like, literally. I could just point. Like, I'm on that one. Come on over. And, at least I have those memories. But to go from that to always being the pretty girl to now being a very sickly looking girl, it's hard to figure out who you are. And that's kind of sad. Especially, like, I grew up in a home very old school, so being a girl that's very appearance based is important to my parents, especially my dad. All the women in his family are very, very pretty, and I was praised for being beautiful, but that was it. It didn't matter I was a straight A student or, good at like a million things or smart or whatever. My looks were more important. So I didn't know any better. And I'm still learning. It's still a learning process. Like I said, I was afraid to come on here and talk to you guys because of my teeth and my, lack of muscle mass in my face because I'm embarrassed. But this is me. There's no going back. My liver is failing. And the liver, basically, it does everything in your body. Like, if that doesn't work, nothing else works. So I can't gain weight no matter how much I eat because the nutrients don't absorb into my body like a normal person. And, I can't even make plans anymore because I don't know what each day will bring. I might feel great today and tomorrow I will feel horrible. Or I'll feel great in the morning and then by the night I'm puking my guts out. And there's no rhyme or reason, it's just the disease. My legs, knees, they swell up to a point that I can't even tell you. Like, I can't even wear shoes anymore. Like, I just have beautiful legs, and they have welts on them now. It's embarrassing. And uncomfortable. Like, when your knees swell up with all that fluid, you can't really bend them, so it's hard to, walk. It's just not a fun way to live, and each month it gets worse. I was told by the doctors that if I went on the Mediterranean diet and I cut out alcohol completely and X, Y, and Z, which I did all that I could get better. for whatever reason, they won't put me on a transplant list. Apparently they don't do that for people who, you know, they deem me as somebody that has liver failure due to drinking, which I know that's not the only thing. I know it in my heart and my soul, but that's what they put on my chart. So guess what? That means I gotta die. Lucky me. So this Christmas, I'm trying not to get emotional because I promised myself I wouldn't. I'm doing everything I can with family. Like, I never would sit down and watch a Christmas movie with my parents, but now I want to. That's all I want to do on a Saturday night. Because that's what makes me happy. You know, you realize the small miracles in life when you're faced with death. It's no longer, you know, it was a hard thing to realize that the peak of my life, I already had it, and I thought I hadn't. And this is it. Like, now it's just downhill. And rapidly. A lot more quickly than I thought, and there's never enough time. So if you take anything from this video, don't take a moment for granted. Because you just don't know. You don't know what can happen. And you don't want to miss all that time. So if there are things that you want to learn and accomplish, do it now. Don't wait. Do it now. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of failing. It doesn't matter, you know? Just do what you want to do. Be thankful for a hot cup of cocoa. Or, I don't know, a really good breakfast. Or a really good dinner. A phone call from a friend that you haven't heard from in a long time. Just those little things that mean a lot now. By the way, dry mouth is one of the biggest things I get from this. Not fun. And I'm queasy too. So I'll probably have to end this in a second. But that's my story. You know, I'm gonna live this like I had a really good time spending a ton of money on Christmas gifts that I shouldn't be spending, but I can't take that money with me. Maybe I will live another 5 years. I don't know. But if I don't, I want to give people that I love what I can. And I want to see them smile when they open their gifts Christmas morning. And that's more important to me than holding on to it. Like, why? What's the point? And you know, you have to find small things to do when you don't feel well. And that was tough for me as well. I was raised in a home where go, 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 go. You're lazy if you don't live like that. And I can't live like that anymore. Most of my days, if I do wake up early at a good time and all that, I still have to spend a very large portion of my day relaxing, because if I don't, I get sick. Like, really sick. And then I'm down and out for days. So I thought coloring was stupid. It's like, well, what's the point? Well, I took it up and I started like kind of like junk journaling with it almost, but I use it in like a recipe book. Again, for a whole nother video. But I found a way to use it where I don't feel like I'm wasting my time by coloring. You know, jewelry making again. I'm trying to get a little bit back into that. because I have to elevate my legs a lot because they get so swollen. So I had to find things like to bring me joy, or I can just lay there with my legs up. Not fun. I mean, there's one thing I can do with my legs up that's fun. But I don't get to do that really much anymore. But I think I have my fill. Trust me, I had plenty of fun in my younger years. So, anyway, guys, that's my story. And that's why, you know, I wasn't showing my face on my videos, so they probably weren't that much fun to watch, and I apologize for that. I apologize for not just being real with you from the start, but I'm going to from now on. This is me. Warts and all. I should say, lack of teeth and all. But, yeah, I just really want to warmly welcome you to drop a comment. You know, if you're a survivor, tell us your story. You know, you never know who you could help. You know, if this inspires you to make your own channel, like give you an outlet maybe. Find something you really love to do and make a channel. Why not? I love bargain shopping. Love it, especially Dollar Tree. So that's what this channel is about. I have another channel that's an entirely, totally different subject. And trust me, people that like this kind of stuff won't be into that, so I'm not even going to go into that. But, you know, maybe you're really good at some type of craft. Do videos on it. Give it a go. Give it a try. You're worth it. Like, tomorrow isn't promised, so try. I am very technologically challenged. Like, I'm like a dinosaur. I'm worse than like an 80-year-old. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. So, and I just bought a new laptop yesterday, and I'm like trying to set this damn thing up, and I had to take a break and record this because I can't do it. I need more friends that are good with this stuff. So anyway, give it a try. And if you have any questions for me, please feel free to leave those down below as well. I'm not going to be offended. I'm, you know, within reason. Be kind, obviously. That's rule number 1 on my channel. Be kind to myself and anybody else that comments. And if you're not, I will block your ass with a quickness. And I'm not the kind of girl, like, I know I seem super sweet, and I am. But I am the last person you want on your bad side. So, be kind. If you are, I welcome you with open arms, give you my heart. And I really hope that this inspires some people, and like, you know, which I already said. And people will be more inclined to watch my videos now that I really just came out and said it. This is me. This is Meg. So, thank you for letting me ramble. I'm surprised I got through that without crying too much. I did have to do it twice. And both times were just rambles, but it is what it is. Okay, guys, I've rambled on long enough. I will be doing, oh my gosh, I have so many things that I apologize I need to show you, but I'm going to kind of break it up. But let me know, do you want me to break it up, or do you want it all in a really, really long video? But I was thinking makeup in one, because I've got a bucket ton of that, skincare in another one, because I got a lot of that, and then Christmassy items, like random, like other really cool stuff I found when visiting Dollar Tree. And then also, probably like a little makeup haul video from like all the holiday makeup I purchased, which my purse strings are now shut tight, thrown away. Because I swear everything happens at once. Did all my Christmas shopping, then I needed a new laptop. Now I need to go to the dentist, like, again. And, it's just when it rains, it pours, right? So, gotta put that money away and hold on to it, you know, for when I really need it. Because I'm spending way too much. And like I said, I kind of splurged on myself this year. But why not? I deserve it, right? I think I do. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for listening. And I hope to see you all again. Many blessings.